Hi there, I'm Coach Todd, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about all the different measurements you can use when you're training for a triathlon. So we all have these different devices to help us measure different things. So I have a bike computer, I've got a swim tempo trainer, just a basic running watch, and then the Garmin running watch. So I've got all of these things, right? I mean, it's a lot of things. They shoot out a lot of different numbers, and the big question is, what should I have on each device that's going to make my training easier? So instead of picking on one of my athletes, I'm going to pick on myself, and I'm going to show you how I use each of these devices when I'm training. So just to give you a bit of a heads up on what I'm doing this year, I'm training for my key race is an Ironman. I'm going to do an Ironman, half Ironman as a lead up. So I always have in the back of my head that I'm training for an Ironman. Let's start with my first computer, and this is for the bike. And so I'm using a Garmin 510, and I really enjoy it. So we are now in the winter season, and so all of my riding right now is on a bike trainer. So this computer right now, the setup I'm going to talk to you about, is a setup I'm using when I'm on a trainer. So let's just press start. And let's see what happens. So right away you can see that there are 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so it's shooting out 4 different numbers. Now on the top here is the time. So it's the total time of the workout. So I know, if I've biked for 30 minutes, 45 or an hour, which is cool. The second one here is the lap. So say if I'm doing a workout, so where I have to do intervals, I just push a button and then the current lap keeps going. So it keeps me on track on the workout, which I like a lot. The middle one here is cadence. Cadence is important to me, especially in the winter, because I'm doing a lot of classes. So I'm talking to people in the class about holding a specific cadence. So I need to know what my cadence is so I can get people doing the same thing that I'm doing or following the same target. So cadence right now is very important to me. It may not be as important when I'm riding outside, because when I'm riding outside I'm going to have a really good feel for what my cadence is. But for the indoor session right now, cadence is quite important. And now the bottom one here, you can see it's cycling. Can you see that? It's going back and forth between 2 different values. So right now it's on power, so it's measuring watts, and then it's going to go back to the next one, which is heart rate. So I'm measuring 2 things. It's all on one window, but it's cycling through, which is nice for me, so I can look down and 1 second I can see it's measuring my power. So I have a power tap on my bike, so it's telling me how much power I'm producing, and then it switches to heart rate. I think it switches every 3 to 5 seconds. So it's a great way for me to see how much power I'm generating and what my heart rate is, so I'm staying in the correct zone. So that's what I'm using when I'm riding on the bike. Okay, so let's switch over to when I'm running. What do we got? Okay, so when I'm running, I will do, as long as I remember it. A lot of times I forget to take this thing with me, and so if I forget that, I'm just using my running watch. But this really is just for, my running watch is really just for telling time and start finish, so I get a total time. It doesn't tell me anything else. It's a very basic watch. This one here is a Garmin 910 XT, and it's a very advanced watch, and so it can tell you so many different things. It's really, I think it's a cool watch. I think the new 920 looks amazing as well. So if you're going to go get a watch, this 910 is a great one to get. But let's right now show you what I'm using when I am running. So I went for a run last night, so it's still on the settings. And so let me show you what I was looking at. So when I'm running, and so again, it's the winter time here, so when I'm out running, I run when it's dark out usually, so I can't see a lot. So you see I got glasses on, so I want numbers that are big, and I don't want a lot of things that I'm looking at. So when I was running yesterday, all I had on was two numbers being displayed. On the top was the current time or current lap, and on the bottom is pace. So I want to know how fast I'm going and how long I've been running. So if I got to turn around and get back for a certain specific time, I know that. So I've got time and I've got pace, and that's it. And that's for a run where I'm just going by myself. I'm not really doing interval workout at all. It's just about me going for a long run, and I want to hold a certain pace. So it's very basic. I've got time and I've got pace. That's it. You know, the watch is measuring things like heart rate, elevation, and stuff like that. But I don't care about that when I'm running. I can look at that after the fact when I upload all my data to Training Peaks. But when I'm running, it's just the current lap or the total time, and on the bottom is pace, and that's it. Now, if I'm running with a group, say if when I do my brick class on Saturday, I will switch it to a different view. And the view will be, let's see, what will I do? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go to this view. So then I have three. I have three measurements coming at me. Can you see that? So what we have on the top is a current lap. On the bottom, I have a pace. And over here is distance. Now I really don't care too much about distance. The biggest thing I care about when I'm doing a group setting is the lap and the pace. The lap, so that if we're doing like a fartlek workout where we're going for every 4 minutes or 3 minutes, I need to know when to stop and when to start. So that the current lap is very important. The pace down here is important as well because I don't want to be going too fast or too slow. I'm trying to hit that right time. I had distance down there only because some people like to know, well, how far was that? To me, I don't really care, but I put it on there to answer questions. I go, well, how long did we go for? How was the distance on that one, Todd? And I'll say, well, it was, 1 kilometer or whatever it was. So that's what I use when I'm running with a group. I'll have 3 displays. I'll have lap, current lap time, I'll have pace, and I'll have distance. Let's move now on to this one here. This is a fitness tempo trainer, and this is something that I just picked up. And I picked this up yesterday actually, and I've only used it one day. And the only thing I care about this is, let me see if I can turn this on. Okay, so the only thing I care about this, can you hear that? No, can you hear that? That's not my heart, it's the tempo trainer. Okay, so what it's doing is it beeps, right? And it's kind of a cool little device, right? And so it's got a little clip here. It's got a little clip. You can take the clip, clip it onto your goggles. Some people will take the clip off, right? So it just comes off. So you can have it like this, and then you shove it in your swim cap. To me, the idea of having this squished against my head and my swim cap, that doesn't appeal to me at all. So I'm going to use this that little clip down there, clip it onto my goggles, and what it does, I set it to a certain stroke rate. So what it's doing is it's telling me to keep me in pace, and it's like setting a cadence when you're biking or running. You're trying to set a stroke rate or a certain cadence when you're swimming. So I tried it yesterday, and I thought it was very cool, and it kept me into a nice rhythm. I need to learn how to do this better so that when I'm swimming slow, I found the cadence was good, but once it started to go a little bit faster, the beeping was off. And I think there's only 2 buttons here, which is easy. So if you have it on your swim cap, you can just use your fingers and increase it or decrease it. So it's a good way to keep you on track when you're swimming, and to also, if you want to increase your stroke rate, it's a cool, simple device. But now, so I use that one for swimming, that fitness tempo trainer, but I also use this watch here too. So let's go back to the Garmin 910. So right now it's in the run mode, and let's move it back to the swim mode. Okay, so I went for a swim yesterday, and I used this watch for swimming. And I have 3 different windows that I can cycle through. But what I was focusing on, so when I start, I look at this view, which is just time and distance. So I'll start it. Boom, down we go. And then when I'm swimming, what I'll do is, say if I want to do a lap, I'll push the lap button. Then that will start off the first interval. And then once I've done the warm-up, what I'll do is I'll switch the window. I will then switch the window so that I can see, let's go back here to interval time, interval pace, and interval distance. So there's 3 numbers being measured. So I want to know how long did it take me to do that interval. So when I push off the wall, I'll press lap, right? So then I'll have the interval time and the distance. Because sometimes, when you're swimming, you forget, was that 200? Was it 150? Was it 250? Did I swim long? Was I short? This watch will keep you honest. For the most part, it's pretty good. Sometimes it seems like it's off by 25, but it works pretty good. So I like it a lot. So I like it. So it keeps me on track for distance. For actual time, what I'll use the old-fashioned swim clock on the wall. I like doing that. But if sometimes you're doing a longer distance and your brain can't quite figure out the clock, use the watch. All you do is press lap when you start, and when you stop, you look at the watch. If you have interval time on, it tells you what your time is. So it's pretty simple. So that's what I use for swimming. I use this guy. Sometimes I'll never use this for swimming, because last time I did, I got a bubble in it. So this is not for swimming. But what I will do is I'll take it off before I go swimming. If I forget this one at home, and oftentimes I do, so I'm just stuck with this. And so then I can't really time anything except using the pace clock on the wall. And what I'll use this watch for is I'll go to my run session, or the run feature here, and I will 0 it. And before I hop in the water, I press start. And when I get out of the water, I press stop. So then I know how long I swam. So that's it. That's what I use for this one for. And believe it or not, more times than not, I'm using this watch over this one just because I forget to bring it. So that's what I use for swimming. These two guys for biking, especially for the winter, I use this. In the summer, I use it. But the summer, I'll switch out the numbers I'm looking at. And for running, I go back to this watch, right? And this is great for pace and distance. And if I forget this one, then I go back to this one. It tells me my start time and finish time. So I hope you found this video useful and not too long. And so let me know what values you're measuring when you're out training. So that's it. This is Coach Todd saying thank you and happy training.